State and language. So, how is a language related to a state, and what role does the state actually play in imposing a language? More often than not, languages are associated with space, and the concept of state also is associated with a single language. So you think Spanish is spoken in Spain, French is spoken in France, and for instance, Urdu is associated with Pakistan, and you think of all the other states, most of them, although they are multilingual in nature, they are portrayed as a monolingual space where only one language is spoken. So if you think only English is spoken in England also, so you are wrong over there. And there are several local languages native to that country which are spoken apart from English itself. So this assumption is an ideological assumption that is imposed by the state so as to consolidate its political power and to make itself distinct from others. Now, Anderson argues, and he has this famous book on nations as imagined communities, that even the concept of a nation state is a discursive, imagined community. That is, you never actually get to meet all the different people living in that space as you would do in a community to which you belong. Rather, you just imagine and identify yourself to be a part of that community. And this is where the language plays an important part, as it is affiliated with the ideology of a single state and a single language. So it is argued in the favor of this concept of imagined communities, the state as being one, that the number of the countries keeps on changing. So you had at the end of 20th century only 60 states, you had 74 countries after the World War, and now you have 200 countries, and the number is constantly changing. So this is what we again construct. And let's remind ourselves that there are very few monolingual states. Only Korea and Iceland, we can say to a larger extent, are monolingual because the majority of the population is using certain languages only for all their communication. So this concept of states being monolingual again is a social construct, and people, when they talk about bilingualism, they think of it as a problem. So even Mackay, for instance, says bilingualism is a problem which affects a majority of the world. So it is bilingualism itself which is a norm. However, it is projected as a problem, and monolingualism, that is a single language use, is what is abnormal, which is actually not a norm. So, although this whole concept of a single nation, single language is an imagined construct, but its consequences are quite serious, and those who do not have access to the dominant language through their educational systems become infested with a sense of inferiority, and they are reduced to or relegated to the periphery instead of to the mainstream participatory processes. And in this, your education system plays an important part.